Hey, this is Sky. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Let's just have a dialogue today. Let's talk about family. I definitely encourage people to chime in if they have any ideas, or maybe if I'm on the wrong track with some of this, thinking, I just been mulling around this morning the idea of a two-parent family. Now, to set the backdrop, I come from a broken home. My father was not in the picture. I met my father when I was around 16 or 17. I think I was 16 when I met him. He sent me a letter, and then when I was 17, I physically met him for the first time. He died when I was 20. So we had a short, actual, real relationship, and I was raised by my mother. My mother was weak. I don't mean that in an insulting way, if by some chance she's watching. It's hard, I think, for a single parent of any gender, but it's really hard for a woman to raise a boy, especially a boy like me who had a lot of problems. I was very strong-willed. I was wild. I was a wild animal. I went through all the classic, what do you call it, like reactions, I guess, to that kind of scenario where young boys who grew up without fathers, then with a single mother, living in apartment projects, on welfare in the ghetto, moving around a lot, no stability, no real man in the house. Mom's got different boyfriends all the time. This is a classic scenario, and I did what everybody else does. I went out into the streets at a young age and found older kids to be my role model, to be my father figure, to teach me, to guide me. Just to have that kind of relationship of younger and older male. Men need that. I mean, I'm assuming women do too. Of course, those people are all idiots in the streets. What the hell do they know? They don't know anything. They're dumbasses. They're all trying to do the same thing. I knew a lot of people that didn't have fathers. So, I was been thinking about that shit all morning. It's interesting how there's so many deadbeat dads out there. There's so many guys like my dad who genuinely just didn't want to have kids. It was an accident. He wasn't wearing a condom. Knocked up my mom and was just kind of left with that burden. Oh, geez, pregnant. Are you going to get an abortion? And she says no. And then, damn. All right, well, let me know how it goes, I guess. I mean, my dad wasn't even there. When I was born, from the story I heard, he was out buying drugs. He came back shortly, I guess, but even when I met him, when I was 16, 17, it's not like he was really happy to have his son back in his life. And I always kind of just wondered, how does somebody get to that point? Or is it just simply not taking responsibility? Maybe that's the problem. I've always thought that deadbeat dads were just bad people. They're evil. Something really wrong with these motherfuckers. I know a guy who has 5 sons, 5 boys, and he's a deadbeat dad to 3 of them. He's actually trying to raise 2 of them. So good for him. The other 3, fuck him. And he'll openly say that. He's proud of being deadbeat dad to the other 3, which is odd. There's lots of guys out there that'll knock a chick up and just run off. They don't give a fuck. Like a dog. And I just kind of always thought that was just evil, something wrong with you. Had no real explanation for it, and I wondered what that's about. But maybe it's just about responsibility. These are irresponsible people, right? Pretty simple answer. I guess in an ideal world, a woman has so much more of a burden when they have sex than a guy does. A guy can just have sex and get his rocks off, and it's just, yeah, it was just fun for me. Thanks. Wham bam, thank you, ma'am. A woman, every time she has sex, is taking a risk. She can get pregnant. Let alone, either party can catch venereal diseases, and that's gotten worse over the generations. Wasn't such a big deal when I was a kid. You got to be a lot more worried about it now, but people have so many partners now. But that's why women are so much more choosy than guys. There's statistics that have tracked Tinder and how men and women like or whatever, they swipe left or right. And guys will like, I think it was like 65% or 70% of the women they see, they're like, hell yeah, I'd fuck her. Yeah, oh yeah. Whereas women are a lot more choosy. They go through the same amount, probably a lot more guys, and they're just swiping no, 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 maybe, no, no, no. So women are a lot more choosy, and that's kind of why, because they have a lot more to risk. I don't think it's so much emotional, because I've known guys that have been real bitches, real emotional dudes, and there's nothing wrong with falling in love, and we all get hurt. I've been one of those types. When I got dumped by my fiance, she dumped me hard, it hit me like a Mack truck, I cried. I was such a mess. And she was pretty strong. She moved on fine. She was cool with it, not me. But it's interesting to me about how a guy can know that he's got a living creature that basically got spit out the tip of his dick, right? That's where we all came from. And he don't give a fuck. That used to just bother me. I used to just wonder about that shit with my own dad, and I wonder about that shit when I see other people that I know that aren't properly taking care of their kids, and I wonder about that when I hear about these deadbeat dad stories that are just awful. It's that stupid TV show I used to watch. You may have seen it. I got addicted to it years ago, and I used to watch it every day when it was on. It was that Big Bang Theory show. And it was a long time ago. And right when it first came out. And the character Sheldon, the real nerd, well, they're all nerds, but the awkward one, he's almost like a retard, overgrown child. He's all about these relationship agreements, roommate agreements, these types of contracts. I was wondering about that. Not so much as a physical thing. Who would really do that? Because relationships are organic. That's where they're supposed to be, and that's why that relationship agreement in this TV show was kind of a weird thing. Nobody really does that. But what an interesting idea, though. Especially if you're looking at relationships as not just a self-serving thing of solving my loneliness, having sex all the time, but to actually come together in this joint effort to make each other better people and to possibly have kids and to sign a contract for that shit. To hold yourself accountable. Would that affect a man's responsibility to take care of his own kids if he took a vow, took an oath? Motherfuckers will claim that oath of omerta out in the streets, but they can't seem to just take the oath to be responsible for their own families. They can have loyalty, ride or die with their homies, right? I'll do anything for you, dog. Right? But then when their old lady comes up, they're just like, fuck that bitch. And fuck those kids too. Motherfuckers are dedicated to their addictions and will defend their addictions, but they're not really dedicated to their kids and they're not really defending their kids. There's lots of deadbeat dads like this. Maybe if they were to be held to a same type of oath, this oath to serve and protect, like military guys take or cops take, that it would be on your honor. And a lot of guys don't want their honor to be fucked up, and to fuck up your honor, that's like your legacy is done, your name is trash. And that gets to be important to a lot of motherfuckers. Respect is important to them. Maybe if we could somehow change the culture, educate certain people that when you don't take care of your kids, you're disrespecting, obviously, your kids, but you're disrespecting yourself as a man. Maybe that would inspire more men to do what's right and be more honorable. I don't know. It's just all food for thought. Thanks for watching.